19 years of Spider-Man movies have made for some fantastic special effects. We're talking perfectly detailed digital creations, skyscraper scaling, and high-flying stunts.
It's time for 30 scenes without CGI from the Spider-Man movies.
From the OG Sam Raimi films to the epic Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 1. Well, the concrete jungle at least. By this point, Zendaya and Tom Holland are used to holding each other tight, whether hanging out themselves or well hoisted up with harnesses.
It was a big swing.
The best part of this terrifying stunt was definitely the fact that Zendaya didn't have to pretend to be terrified at all.
Thank you.
Number 2. Does Tom ever get lightheaded?
Thanks, Oliana, for this impossible challenge.
Seriously, that's a lot of time for a regular person to spend hanging upside down. Luckily, the blood rushing to his head doesn't have any effect on his acting abilities.
Oh my god.
Number 3. No need to stop the vehicle. He'll just hop off when he needs to. It's the Spidey way. Tom looks so natural doing this, it almost seems like he could probably pull it all off without the wires.
For the record, I do all my own stunts.
Number 4. Is this a hospital? We've got 2 docs in the house and all the tense vibes. It might be a fairly small set in reality, but the CGI really gives the space the character and depth to make it a powerful moment between the trio.
They've got the technology. This isn't going to be a problem.
Number 5. And it's parkour time. Not a wire in sight. We're becoming more and more convinced Holland is actually a real-life Spider-Man.
Well, I do all of my own stunts.
Run, Spidey, run. Number 6.
Ready for a giant explosion?
The scale of what they have is not to be underestimated.
Boom goes that dynamite. Holding back really isn't a thing they do on the Spider-Man set. Real pyrotechnics make the explosions. CGI fine-tunes it all.
Number 7.
Ouch. That is a lot of floors to go through.
It just puts you right back on your game.
Luckily, their crew was so good, they made it possible to shoot pretty much anything safely. But still, this is next level.
Number 8.
That's one way to go off-roading for sure. How many cars are we guessing were harmed during the making of this film? Or guardrails, for that matter. Even without the added effects, these shots behind the scenes ooze with action.
Number 9.
When was the last time you saw snow flurrying down casually in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia?
We down here in Georgia, baby. Down here in Georgia.
When they couldn't actually film in New York, CGI and practical effects came in to save the day and bring the right season to the screen.
Number 10.
The sheer scale of this. The production team knew how to bring the real wreckage. Combined with Zendaya and Jacob bringing the drama, the CGI team producing scenery magic, a perfect recipe for success.
Number 11.
Okay, so how many cars are we thinking had to be completely destroyed to capture enough material for the CGI team to work with? Few studios are actually able to bring stunts at this scale to life, but the team behind Spider-Man, well, they've obviously got it covered.
Number 12. Tough conversations, intense realities. This set served total meeting room realness, and of course, the special effects team managed to design the perfect environment. Are we surprised by this point? Number 13. Why land on the ground when you can land on a car? Just another day filming in the middle of a highway making Spider-Man history. Nice work, Tom.
A mile? Are we pressed for time? Come on, let's do 2.
Number 14. Hold up. Is that a Far From Home Spidey suit we see? Yes, it is, but it wasn't the only Spidey suit that they filmed this scene in that day. We never really think about the fact that seemingly simple street scenes could require special effects, but voila. Number 15. Okay, so how magical is this evening on the bridge? We'll admit, the blue screen instead of the river and night sky aren't quite the same, but the bond between Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal?
He's the nicest guy
I like
in the
that
world.
he is.
I'm super into him as
are.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but you're like the greatest actor of our generation.
Well, we know that bro love is real. Number 16. Who will it be today? Hydro Man, Molten Man, Sandman, a mix of all 3? The fully CGI rendered villains steal the scene and really make waves. Okay, well, at least Hydro Man does. Number 17. Did you see an out-of-place aircraft? The actors running from it didn't, but we definitely believe they do. This CGI is pretty flawless. No surprise considering how intricately designed it was from the beginning. Number 18. Ah yes, the monument scale. While they couldn't really film at the monument, Holland still got to show off all his scaling skills on the smaller built-in studio. They weren't going to make it easy for him and film horizontally though. You know we got the real deal.
We didn't have to, film it sideways. We didn't have to turn the camera sideways and see how it looked afterwards.
Number 19. Are all the people supposed to just stop like that? You bet. Every single actor in this scene is literally holding still as statues. It turned out to be the easiest way to pull off this Spidey sense scene and took a ton of practice from these expert performers.
For the 5 or 6 minutes it took for the camera to move through.
At least all the Spider-Man madness was filmed separately. Trying to stay still while cars are flying so close? Yeah, no thanks. Number 20. Would you believe us if we said this flying Spider-Man wasn't in fact Andrew Garfield, but a fully virtual Spider-Man? The shaky and exciting camera work was done by hand as the operator actually reacted to watching the virtual simulation moving. Number 21. Need a sewer? CGI has you covered. This scene literally wouldn't have been possible without CGI, because that's what the whole thing is. Although Andrew Garfield wasn't able to get out of being totally soaked. Number 22. It's time for the digital lizard. This fierce creature was totally CGI. All of its shots in the movie were indeed thanks to VFX. But that didn't mean the actions and reactions were just plucked from thin air. Combine the captured movements of the actor with the reptile CGI skin and voila, the best digital lizard we have ever seen. Number 23. It's a symbiote day today, isn't it? Luckily, Tobey didn't have to deal with the terrifying black slime. They had VFX for that. Considering how long ago these effects were actually created, remember, this is early 2000s. They're super impressive and intricate. And thanks to that CGI, no Tobey Maguires were harmed in the making of this film.
With great power comes great fun.
Number 24. Is he though? Is he really back with that less than climactic landing? Luckily, Karma didn't get him back for faking an injury, and Tobey got to safely fall in the hold of his harness.
Number 25.
Okay, so there was some CGI included to bring that full cityscape, but the web itself, that sweet MJ and Peter moment on the web, actually happened.
Honestly, I never think about it while I'm making it, but I just knew that I just felt like it was special.
We can't lie. We absolutely want to experience hanging out on that web.
Number 26.
While the CGI Doc Ock for Spider-Man No Way Home had some epic-looking arms,
The tentacles are all kind of CG now.
the fact that Alfred Molina actually had puppet limbs surrounding him filming Spider-Man 2 is super epic.
They were mechanical and I had them attached to me and we had puppeteers working them and stuff.
8 arms versus 2 though, hardly fair really.
Number 27.
Let's take a second to recognize just how much action Aunt May got in this movie.
Rosemary Harris did a lot of stunts too.
She's swinging around and flying through the air nearly as much as Spider-Man himself. Obviously with a different vibe though. Props to Rosemary Harris on this one, who literally dove into doing some of her own stunts after seeing an older stunt person pull them off.
I begged them to, and they relented, and it was lovely. I loved it.
Number 28.
I think we worked on the train sequence, certainly from day one till the very, very end.
Usually people ride home inside the train car, but if on top is more your thing, then hey, you do you.
It was easy to see and to be able to read between the lines early on that there was going to be a lot of CGI work involved.
Quantity of work dictated that we should probably shoot some real trains somewhere.
The train itself was real, but thank goodness that speed was not.
Number 29.
The Big Apple is a cool city for sure, but they weren't so keen on all the wild shots the Spider-Man team needed to capture. So the always wonderful VFX team brought New York to Spider-Man land.
Sometimes it's a completely CG shot.
Picture perfect? You bet. We don't expect anything less from this team.
Number 30.
Is he okay? Oh yeah, he's just doing his Green Goblin thing. It's a whole lot less green, but just as intense without the CGI.
You want to know the truth? Nobody knows how uncomfortable those costumes are.
Willem Dafoe went full Goblin Beast mode here.
Wow, that's pretty nutty.
The CGI and special effects in these movies has come a long way, but from the very start, it's been impressive. We love seeing how certain characters have changed visually over the years, especially those that went from giant puppets to full CGI. Which is your favorite special effect?